Hello everyone, it looks like we're live. So, today I wanted to, um, today for this first video on the live stream here, I want to show you guys how I build my stock watch list. Pretty much do this every single night, and I think it will be insightful. I traffic in a lot of well-known stocks, so I think it's going to be, stuff you guys are familiar with. So, let me go ahead and open up the charts here. Now I need to make some disclaimers, of course. Probably have to do this every single time. Number one, I'm not a professional. Number two, this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you what I do personally. I've been trading for about 1.5 years. I haven't had any bad years, but I haven't had any great years. Basically, I've just kind of been moving with the market and learning. But I think I'm starting to pick things up, and honestly, I just want something to talk about that I'm passionate about. And this, I think, would be a good thing to start with the stocks. So without further ado, I will get into this. Sorry about the mic quality, by the way. I do have a mic coming. I just was kind of excited to start streaming, so I'm just going at it with this crappy mic here. So let's get started with this list. So here you'll see my top 100 list. These are the top 100 most liquid stocks in the market, which is basically just taking average dollar volume times the stock price. Well, it's actually just taking average volume times the stock price, and that gives you the average dollar volume. And these are the most liquid stocks. And why do I like these? Well, first of all, I like things that I can, just completely zone in on these 100 stocks, and then I'm boiling it out to 25. That makes it very easy to track this stuff for someone who has a full-time job and doesn't have all the time in the world to sit there and keep keep track of hundreds of stocks. The other reason I like this is it's very scalable. You can traffic in these things when you have a small account. You can get in and out of them with a big account, which I think is really cool. So let me go ahead and we'll go through here. I'm going to try to find the top 25 stocks. That's going to be my watch list. And we're just going to go down the list and see what looks good to us. So we'll start with NVIDIA, the king of the market, the most liquid stock in the market. And people say it's starting to become a boring stock, and I don't blame them for that. But we did just have a pretty nice run up here. It's still doing its job. It's got a 90 relative strength. So I'm going to add this to the watch list. Tesla, setting up nicely. I've seen some people say they're getting into this one because it does kind of look like it's starting to tighten up here, but not a good day on Friday. Only a 74 relative strength. Normally, I'd like to see this kind of action at the top of the range as opposed to the bottom. I would feel a lot better about it if that was the case. That being said, this one does still interest me, so I'm going to put it on the watch list. Apple, this one's moving too slow. Palantir, I've never liked the stock. I don't like the company and what they do. I don't like the way the stock moves. This is just like the definition of grinding up here to me. And now we're just kind of sitting on the 50. And you haven't really seen any kind of real bounce on it, but it is a 98 relative strength stock, so I'm going to add it to the watch list. Microsoft, too slow for me. AMD, it doesn't look very good, but it's a 92, so we'll add it. And one thing you're going to see with a lot of these more liquid stocks is they do kind of personify what's going on in the market. So you're going to see a lot of semis and a lot of tech up here. That's just kind of the way it goes. I only pick 4 stocks at a time to actually buy, so it doesn't bother me too much. I'm not going to duplicate, 2 semis, three semis. I'm just going to pick one. So I don't mind having 2 or 3 on my watch list, and I'll just pick out the one that actually looks good. So did I say that one? I did. Okay, so Amazon, starting to look okay, but still a little bit slow. Meta, I thought this one would be okay. The thing about Meta is that I don't really understand exactly what they do. Like, everybody says that they're a big time AI player, but I tried out their AI and it was kind of crap. So not too high on this one from that sense, but it is just sitting around the 50. I'm sure a lot of people are going to buy it. That being said, it's moving kind of slow, so I'm going to skip that one. Now, Google, I do think is a definite AI winner so far. Just from my personal experience, I would say they would probably be the runner-up to ChatGPT in terms of their AI capabilities. They have a lot of cool stuff that they're working on. They seem to be the second leader in the clubhouse for AI, and people were saying that this was actually going to wipe them out, this AI wave. But I think that people are starting to realize that Google's not going to go anywhere. You see, it's broken out here, and I didn't get in on this one because there were other things that I thought were going to move a little bit faster, but it's certainly, there's no shame in getting in on it, so I'm just going to save it for now. This is a disaster. Broadcom is just another semi-name with high relative strength, so we're going to add it. This is the same thing as the other Google. This is a disaster. And here we have Hood, which is a true market leader coming into its 50. I just remember so many times when I was like, if only this thing would go down to its 50, I'm going to buy it. So now that it's here, it doesn't look great with some of these high volume down days, but all things considered, it's pretty much gone sideways and it's holding in there. It's starting to get tight here. Maybe it dips below and comes back above, but I definitely want to have my eyes on this one. Netflix, it's a little slow. No shame in this one, but I think there are better things. MicroStrategy trending below the 50-day, that's a no-go for us. This one was showing relative weakness to Bitcoin for a while, so this one has been a stay away for a while. Coinbase trending below the 50 seems to be a Bitcoin issue. Intel, this one could potentially make a run through this gap just based on Trump buying it. I just don't think that is something that I'm very interested in at these levels. APP. APP, I was really not bullish on this one around in here just because it had this humongous blow off top. Before this, I was crazy about this stock. I was constantly trying it around in here, and then finally I did get it here, and I sold it too early. I still made some good money off of it, but I sold it a little too early, let's be honest. But I'm starting to come back around to this one. It did break out on the hourly chart and started moving higher. And it looks like it is kind of retesting back down. So maybe this one would be a good one to take off the bounce. TSM, I'm good on this one. I'm good on this one. This one here, this is too crazy for me. I don't think I could hold this overnight. CoreWeave is a disaster. Oracle, this is some very bad action here. You've had these two very stark selling days here, a very weak rally over the 50, and then it just got completely smacked down on Friday. So some very bad action in Oracle. Micron here, I can see this potentially tightening up here and going higher. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the watch list. Another semi-type name. JP Morgan, a little slow. Palo Alto, not a good look with this gap down here. Cybersecurity hasn't been in for a while, so we're going to skip this one. A little slow and not doing anything. Sideways movement, probably worse than sideways. It has a 15 relative strength. SoFi, this one here, 98 relative strength, so really powerful. I'm going to add it. This one, every time it goes higher, it surprises me. It's starting to look not as badly extended as it was, back here, but when it started making this move higher, I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure it was going to come back up and hit these highs and reject, but it's holding in there, and it's still showing a lot of power. Disaster. Here we have a very interesting one. Now, I don't really like to trade some of these foreign stocks because it just feels riskier, and you can see there's very low average daily range. It's not moving a lot from where it opens up. You're getting a lot of your move in the gap, which I really don't like. But a super powerful breakout on earnings here. I think this one is definitely a good candidate to go higher. I'm going to add it, even though I probably won't trade it just because of this gappiness. I really don't like that. No thanks to this one. This one's a disaster. Now Reddit here, um, I think people were thinking that Reddit was going to take some hits with this AI revolution. People go to ChatGPT for the answers instead of Reddit, which I do kind of see that. I mean, personally, I don't go on Reddit that much anymore. I just ask ChatGPT, but I think it's possible that they're maybe getting some sort of revenue out of that. Like ChatGPT references Reddit almost every answer, so maybe there's something going on there. Whatever the case is, this one certainly looks like it's ready to leave. You have this ready to lead, I should say. A very nice cup base with this sideways consolidation. It popped out on earnings. Now it's come back. It's resting. If it breaks out of this consolidation, it's hard not to see it going higher. So I'm going to add this one. Bank of America, too slow. GEV, this is one of my favorite stocks in the market. I had a very good run in GEV when it broke out here. And I actually got whipped around in this one. I'll show you one on the hourly chart, but I really thought this one was ready to start going, so I did buy it on Thursday, and I got stopped out on Friday. So not super cool, but I still really like the way this one moves, and I think it's a very powerful theme with the AI energy. Walmart here. I should probably check the chat just in case. And we have no viewers and no chats, so that's kind of what you can expect when you're doing something new. That's okay. Hopefully, you guys will find this after the fact, and hopefully, if we just keep posting, you guys will find this eventually. So, Walmart going sideways. Uber, it moves slowly, but it looks pretty nice, so I'm going to add it. Spotify, kind of in the same camp as Netflix, but we do need to fill up the watch list, so I'm going to add this one. Boeing, this one looks pretty good. Honestly, it's not a fast mover, and there definitely is some risk because every time an airplane incident happens, this one gets hit. But it is riding right up near highs, so I do like the look of that. SMCI breakdown. Circle is not really doing anything. Sometimes it is just kind of fun to watch these fast moving IPOs, so I'm just going to put it on the list. It's not that much better than CoreWeave, but I would certainly say it looks a bit better than CoreWeave. I can see a situation where this one starts to come up again, but it is tied in with that Bitcoin theme, which is kind of slowing down. This one is not for me, not for me, not for me, not for me. Snowflake. I was starting to get interested around here. I might have bought it once or twice and got stopped out. And then we had this breakdown. You kind of thought that was the end of things, but some very impressive earnings here. We could ask about these earnings. I don't really care that much. All we know is that they were good. So yeah, maybe a break above this high or even above this close here would be a possible entry for Snowflake. So we'll be watching this one. Let's take a look at the big picture. So yeah, we're kind of breaking above this resistance here. You see another resistance here. So yeah, definitely coming out of the bottom of this base and potentially making a run. Did I save that? No. LOL. Okay. This one, too slow. Not for me. Falling apart. This one I will never buy. I'm sorry. I've just seen this one crash too many times to possibly ever feel good about holding this one overnight. The only way that I would buy this one is in a day trade, and I can't really day trade right now, so moving on. Citigroup looks pretty nice. I did almost buy this one here on this breakout, but I decided against it because it's a little slow. But certainly you can compound your money in stocks like this, so there's no shame in buying this one. I guess I'll just add it to the watch list. CrowdStrike, it tried to rally on earnings, but it got smacked back down. Novo Nordisk literally couldn't get any worse. Okay. It can always get worse, I should say, but you get the point. This one's a disaster. Too slow. Not good. This one was starting to look decent, but it broke down pretty heavily. Oklo, this one is close to the Hims camp for me, but I don't quite put it in that camp. I think it has a little more predictability. I really don't know how I didn't buy it right here. It looked super good. It was just getting really tight along these averages, and then it popped up. I don't know why I didn't buy it there, but I didn't. This one, it moves a little bit too funkily for me, but I can see myself maybe buying this if it really set up nicely. It doesn't look like it's really near that point yet. We're still very volatile, but it's just a leader, so it's good to keep an eye on it. Thermo Fisher, not for me. This Arista Networks here, this is one of the best looking setups in the market, in my opinion. You had this really nice cut base, you broke out, and now you're just kind of making this handle here. And if you break above this level, then who's to say you don't just start running? Because this looks quite good to me. So this one is definitely one to keep your eye on. Adobe is crap. ASML is crap. Roblox, it's staging a rally attempt. It's doing better than I thought it might. But I would probably tend to bet against this one just because of this super climactic action on earnings. And some of the things I hear on the internet about Roblox are very not good. So this is one that I actually did not buy here because I had heard those things on the internet, like it's not a safe place for kids, yada yada yada. So I'm like, I don't really want to invest in a company like that. I don't think it's going to be sustainable. But then it just went on to make one of like the cleanest moves of the last little run we've had here. And it had this blow off on earnings. People sold their stock into it. Some very happy people here. And it looks like it wants to get back up again. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. I guess I'll just put it on the watch list, even though it might get cut if we have too many names. This one's a disaster. This one's too slow. This is pretty much just doing what Boeing is doing. GE Aerospace had a very good run when it got spun off, but it looks like it's starting to turn to a boring stock again. I guess we could save it for now. I'm good. This one's too slow. Spotify, here's a good one. We had some very choppy action down here, but it did tighten up and do this miniature breakout. Unfortunately, you probably couldn't hold into earnings because you didn't have a whole lot of cushion, but earnings were fantastic. Now it's starting to tighten up here. I think this is another one that people should be watching closely. Lamb, there's better things in the semi space, and it's getting awfully choppy there. This is a disaster. This is too slow. Carvana, this one's been running for so long that you almost feel like it has to be nearing its end, the end of its run. But then you realize that we're not even out of the base here. A lot of people do think it's going to end up breaking out here, which I understand why. So it's kind of a make or break spot for Carvana. I don't love this here, this big reversal. That tells me there's a lot of selling going on up here. Maybe it's going to have to come all the way back down before it finally breaks through that final resistance to come out of the base. But I will keep an eye on it just because it is one of those few very high relative strength stocks that's not tied into technology so much. So I do like that. This one's a mess. This one's, nah, I'm good. Okay, Mongo Database. This one had great earnings reaction. And I don't really know exactly what they do, so I'm actually going to look it up. They do SQL database or no SQL database, which is kind of surprising to me. I kind of thought the databases were kind of on the going downwards with this AI revolution per se. But one thing I do notice about things like ChatGPT is they're not very good at storing information and just like remembering things even in the course of a conversation. The information they store can kind of erode. So I don't know, maybe there's still a demand for databases. I'm not a technical wizard and this stuff doesn't really excite me. it is just kind of good to know exactly what these companies are up to before you buy them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the chart's the chart, and the chart looks pretty dang good. So, well, I mean, we are still at the bottom, but certainly this earning reaction, it's a step in the right direction. So I'll save it for now. A-Lab, this looks like a leader to me. It's a newer company. This does seem to be very closely correlated with ANET. So if one of these, so these companies are probably going to be setting up at the same time. And I probably would not buy them both just because they're very closely correlated. I feel like ANET is the cleaner setup, but I feel like this has more potential to move. I do just kind of want to um, ask Copilot about this. Two very different profiles, apparently. So A-Lab is only a $31 billion company, and Arista is a $170 billion company. So that definitely would lend itself to this one being a faster mover. So yeah, this kind of reflects what I was saying. So I think ANET's probably a more certain play, but A-Lab is maybe a more high ceiling. Okay, well, that was nice. So this one certainly we want on our watch list. Procter & Gamble, not much going on there. McDonald's, not much to see. T-Mobile, not much to see. This one coming to an end of a pretty nice run, it looks like. This one, not much to see. This one, not much to see. Da 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 da. And we might have hit on most of the exciting ones. Oh, Rocket Lab. I had a few times that I got smacked down on Rocket Lab. And looking at the daily, it's kind of foolish that I tried it there. I do like to use the hourly, but sometimes the hourly can trick you if you're not paying attention to the daily. So that's going to be my resolution, is to pay a little more attention to the daily. And let me just check the chat here. Oh, it's disabled. Well, not quite sure what to do about that. This one actually is looking quite good, though. We're getting tight over here, so I'm going to be watching this one closely. CyberArk, it is breaking out here. It wants to. This one's funny because I thought I saw something about this one being acquired, so I don't know if it's. I don't know what's happening with this one, so I should probably just stay away. Not much happening. Not much happening. Not much going on. Not much happening. Not much. This one, it's a very steady march higher, but I think there's better things to buy. VRT, this was a big 2023-2024 winner, and it is kind of marching its way down to the 50. So maybe just one to keep an eye on. Though I can't imagine buying this one over like an ANET or an A-Lab or something like that. So MP, this gives you some high power diversification away from the stemming AI space. And you can see here it's been very powerful lately. It is holding up nicely, kind of bounced off the 20 here. It's kind of hard to imagine it's just going to come shooting out of here, especially with some of the selling we saw, but maybe just one to continue to watch go sideways for now and just keep an eye on it. Always be ready. American Airlines, this one seems kind of weak compared to a lot of the other airplane stocks or airliner stocks, and this one, it's crappy semi-name right now. So that should be it. Normally I would want to go through the hourly charts on these, but I think I'm going to hold off from doing that just because this is the first stream and I don't even know if this thing's recording properly. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. So thank you everybody for watching. There's probably going to be some other stuff on this channel, not just stock talk. and hopefully this stock talk will be helpful. Obviously, don't follow exactly what I'm doing because I'm relatively new to this, but I do think it is just kind of good to go through these things together and cover them. And it's also a little bit fun to just talk about something that you're passionate about. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down.